It is finally time! I guess Starfield wasn't what most of you wanted, so I have a better solution. Play Skyrim again. The goal of this list is to make Skyrim extremely pretty and magical if you look at it from afar, but rather dirty and depressing if you get close. So let's start with the lighting and the EMB. I'd say for most of the mods on this list, you can have them in the order that I'm showing them here, but some of them do require fine tuning. We first got Azurite Weathers because I really like the vibe that it gives. It might not be the most popular option out there, but I do feel like it gives my game some amazing vibrance. With that, I have the Picho EMB that I've been using for over a year now, and it looks really well with Azurite. You need to make sure you download the version for Azurite though. I know community shaders are currently a trendy topic, but as of now, I don't really see enough benefits to make me want to switch, but in a future video, perhaps, but I'm very content with my setup as it is right now. I also have a reshade preset that is the Celestial Aura reshade preset for, again, brighter colors and more vibrance. For a time, my game was painfully saturated, but I do feel like as it is right now, it's perfectly balanced as all things should be. For extra ambience, I have Mists of Tamriel, adding volumetric mists, distant mists, and morning fogs. Supreme Weathers for Azurite for some really impressive weather effects for some strong weathers like rainstorms, and also features the Supreme and Volumetric Fog, which looks eerie and amazing during foggy weather. This mod makes Skyrim feel more dangerous, so you can appreciate the sunny weather even more. Enhanced lights and effects for better light effects, mostly noticeable in interiors, making them feel more cozy. Along with that, I have ELFX shadows, adding some really impressive shadow effects to interiors. You probably also heard of the mod Lux, which is a substitute for this mod. You can for sure check out both, but I honestly just prefer ELFX. You can really see the before and after shots of how important these lighting mods are to your game. The mod EMB Light also makes light bounce back from grass and other objects. I also recommend checking out the other mods that use this framework to make other items' light effects have more visual impact. And finally, for the lighting section, we have Enhanced Volumetric Lighting and Shadows, or EVLAS for short, for some much needed immersion, making the sunlight and moonlight be a more realistic source of light by synchronizing shadows with a day and night cycle. Now that we have the lighting mod set up, let's light up a fire. Please don't click away because of the cringe. I can do better, I promise. First, we got Ember XD, an amazing overhaul of fire. If you were to get only one mod from this section, this would be it. It changes the textures of pretty much anything that is too hot to the touch and makes it look mesmerizing. Just look at this forge. And then we got Embers XD, Fire Them Sparks, a mesh replacer for the previous mod to give all fires that spark effect. Then we got FYX Sparks of Fire reacts to the wind and Campfire reacts to the wind to make them, well, react to the wind. I thought it was pretty clear. And finally, to finish off the fire section, we have Rudy's Fix for smoke to make smoke react to the wind. Okay, now the big guns. When we talk about landscapes, there are thousands of mods that change it. So this is probably your most subjective and customizable section of the video. A lot of mods that I have here are pretty taxing on performance, especially anything with parallax in the name. If you want to get parallax working, which by the way is that effect that makes textures look 3D, you need to check out some tutorial on how to do so. Lucky for you, I'll have one in the description. So let's kick it off with our base, Skyline All-in-One. I've been using this mod for years and it's been great. What it does is it takes most of the textures in the game and simply renders them more detailed and high quality, which in turn, I will add more mods on top of that change specific things. Then I have HD Remastered Landscapes that introduces parallax textures to the land. As I said before, anything parallax is rather taxing on performance, so if you want to skip it, go right ahead. Then we got Vivid Landscapes, Rocking Stones and Mountains, Complex Parallax Occlusion, changing up many of the big rocky objects around the map. Vivid Landscapes Complex Parallax Occlusion Snow, which is probably the most impressive snow that I've ever seen in a game. I think this is best used in areas with a lot of traffic like Winterhold. Sometimes it does feel like the holes in the snow that look like footsteps are overused, especially in areas that you can't really imagine a lot of people going, but other than that, it looks simply amazing. As a Canadian, this mod makes me feel at home. Riverstone for little rocks that you can find next to bodies of water. Fall Forest, Pine Forest, Volcanic Tundra, serene shores, all containing parallax. Nordic stone walls, making these little stone walls that you can find in places like Riverwood look amazing. Slightly better rock cairns to give you PTSD if you played Assassin's Creed Valhalla. For the ice, I use northern ice because of this beautiful bright blue color. Might not be the most realistic texture, but I'm aiming for high fantasy here, so it checks out. Skyrim 3D rocks because you want these girthy rocks to give you the eyebrow raise. Enhanced rocks and mountains, mainly for some extra beautification of rocks that also blend better with their environment. Static mesh improvement mod, along with static mesh improvement mod, or SMIM and SMIMIM to make various meshes 3D. And finally, to make snow better and more immersive, I have simple snow improvements, simplicity of snow, and snow surface sound collision and aesthetics, adding snow where it should exist like roofs, removing snow where it shouldn't be like under roofs, and making everything blend better with the environment. Now that was a lot, and I sure hope you took notes. Now that we made the outside look good, let's tackle Skyrim's dungeons, or at least most of them. First, we got parallax caves, making both the stony and icy varieties look more detailed. If you've ever felt like Skyrim's cave systems lack depth and realism, this mod is a game changer. However, most of the ambience for these caves would still be from the lighting mods we reviewed at the beginning of the video. Then we got written imperial forts, making both the exteriors and interiors of these forts more stony and realistic. Oh yeah, these textures are nice. Venerable Nordic temples, an amazing retexture that also features Nordic runes on the walls. Now that, in my opinion, is an amazing detail that sets these Nordic dungeons apart from any others, as they showcase the history of these temples in the forefront. And finally, for the most annoying dungeons in the game, we have Dwemer pipework reworked, along with Stony AF Markarth and Dwemer ruins for the walls. These two mods combined make Dwemer ruins a lot cooler to explore, as they give off a more industrial ambience, especially if you're considering the amazing new pipes that look hot. We will also take a closer look at the new Markarth in the upcoming video. Looking at the water, let's start with water for EMB, probably the most beautiful water I can imagine in any video game. You hear that, Starfield? On top of that, we have Rally's water foam for some incredible foam textures and natural waterfalls, along with its Dragonborn and Dawnguard expansions. These mods make waterfalls look absolutely amazing in Skyrim, and not to mention, more realistic and natural. Throwing Nazim's body in the nearby river has never felt better. While I don't want to get too deep into the buildings and architecture, as I'm planning to do that in my next video, so now is a perfect time to hit subscribe if you want to see that. Let's take a look at some base architecture mods. We first got Skirkbro's retexture project, giving most cities' architecture a new look. It's a nice all-in-one mod that we will use as a base in our next video. Along with that, I would suggest Written Farmhouse Parallax 3, making the farmhouses across Skyrim's smaller cities and villages look really cool. And finally, I would really recommend Glorious Doors of Skyrim, which gets the best door mod award from pretty much everyone. What's that? You didn't know it was an award? Well, it is now. This mod makes pretty much all the doors around Skyrim look magnificent. Some of them also include specific animations such as Bleak Falls Barrow, or pretty much any Dwemer door, which is so fucking cool. And as I said, we will take a look at a series of mods when we tackle the second video, where we overhaul structures and locations to explore, so subscribe if you want to see that if you haven't yet. And now we're at the point of the video where I ask you all to leave a like. Just kidding, I would never do that. Is the point of the video that we look at the trees and flora, starting this section off with the massive Traverse the Ulvenwald. Now this mod is massive and a nightmare when it comes to performance, so if you're looking for extra FPS, I would recommend an alternative like Happy Little Trees, but Ulvenwald to me is just mwah. The models of the trees are great. The mod as a whole changes the feel to a lot of forested locations in the game, making everything more dense and give you a slight sense of danger because you wouldn't know what's lurking around the trees. The trees are also scratching their backs? Oh shit, wrong mod. But while they are not moving as much as the creature I showed earlier, they will be swaying back and forth in the wind, which is a very nice detail. There's nothing better than to catch a glimpse of the sun throughout the trees when you're walking in the forest. When it comes to the rift specifically, I would have Aspen's Ablaze. Until now, I had the Blubbo's Aspen Replacer, but I think Aspen's Ablaze is more true to vanilla and really gives off an amazing feel while walking through the bright orange woods outside of Riften. In the Reach, however, I am keeping the Blubbo's tree replacer for the Reach, adding these dead and barren trees that I really feel like they add a nice atmosphere to the Reach. Immersive Fallen Trees, a mod I can't stop talking about, adding dead, fallen trees all over the map. Bent Pines 2, another tree mod that adds these really cool tree models to various areas. Shrubs redone all in one to fix up the ugly vanilla shrubs. Skyrim 3D trees and plants giving trees a sexy parallax texture overhaul. And now we're getting into some really detailed changes as we're gonna change up the individual flowers. And we can start with Mary's Flora as a base that changes about 100 plant textures. Then we have the individual mods from the Cathedral 3D plants that include stuff such as dragon tongues, nightshades, and death bells. What these mods do is give them a 3D look instead of the Minecraft-like 2D effect, and it looks great. Cathedral mushrooms for an HD shroom overhaul, and finally Rudy HQ, falling leaves and needles, giving them a nicer look, especially when you're in the rift. Now I wouldn't say we're done with the flora, but the next few mods will only affect Blackreach, everyone's favorite dungeon obviously. If you want to skip this part because you told yourself you'll never go to Blackreach again, feel free. But remember, no one truly leaves Blackreach. We'll start with Blackreach Tentacle Mesh Fix to fix up the meshes to the vanilla tentacles. High poly Blackreach mushrooms for a noticeable difference in their shape, along with Rally's Blackreach mushrooms for these cool, scary textures. And finally, animated tentacles for the glowing mushrooms for some sexy movement. Maybe that's not the right word for the specific mod. Next up, we got the grass. No, we are not done with the plants, but almost, I promise. I am running Folkvanger. I've been using this mod for a while and I am not sick of it. I think the grass looks very good and varied, especially across biomes. The variety gives Skyrim this unkempt look, which is very nice. Then, windy grass, making grass move in the wind, making you feel like you're in that one Sekiro scene. More flowers near standing stones for some extra color and magic when you visit these areas. And for the water flora, water plants and animated water lily for these really cool looking lily pads. You see, Bethesda, modders can make really cool looking lily pads. Now let's go to somewhere where grass should not appear, and that is... No, not in your underwear, Nazim. I'm talking about roads. Why would you even have grass in your underwear? Anyway, going to the roads, I have Northern Roads. If you know anything about this mod, you know that it's a very controversial choice. This mod is a compatibility and patching nightmare, so unless you have my patience to patch everything out, don't use it. But I think it's a phenomenal mod, so I will do my best to patch out everything, and then I will add stuff on top of it. Northern Roads features some really cool road designs along with many cool points of interest everywhere in Skyrim. I also have Lux Via to add different light sources along the roads to make sure you see where you're going at night. Then in this order, I would have Northern Roads Patch Collection and Northern Roads Patch Compendium. Please tell me you know how to use full mods, because if not, good luck. For the textures, I have Complex Parallax for Northern Roads, which adds this amazing depth to the already cool looking roads, and I think it's a really great combination. And finally, Blended Roads to have everything blend together nicely. Right now, let's reach for the stars as we explore some mods that will elevate your Skyrim skies to a whole new level. First on our list is Ethereal Clouds, bringing a touch of realism and magic to the skies with its breathtaking cloud textures. Then we got Ethereal Cosmos, a mod that transforms the night sky into a celestial masterpiece. It is also influenced by the weather, so you have a big variety of visuals. Hey, better look in the Starfield. Moonglow and Bigger Moons not only enhances the textures of Nirn's moons, but also increases their size, because bigger moons, bigger woods. Because we looked at tree mods earlier, no other reason. Lastly, we got Skygazer Moons. This mod introduces dynamic moon phases to Skyrim, adding variety and realism to the lunar cycle. Just another addition for some extra touch of immersion. Now if you want, you can leave the video right here, or for a more real reason, if your computer can't handle anymore. But before the end, I still have about a dozen mods ready to showcase that add extra miscellaneous details and textures, so let's dive into the waves. with KGB waves that adds this really cool effect to the shores. This is a real nice touch in my opinion to make the Sea of Ghosts almost feel like a real sea. Then there's whalebones on coasts for these huge carcasses, adding so much cool details to shores again. Animated ice flows to make the ice flows bob like there's no tomorrow. Volcanic tundra heat wave effect to make the heat distortion effect around the East March Springs more apparent. Splashes of storms for splashes and ripples on land and in water whenever it's raining. Seagulls of Skyrim for the devil himself to appear in your skies around water. And finally, flying crows, giving Skyrim a spooky Nordic feel as it's ultimately a Viking game. Now there are others of course, so if you want to know of more mods, I suggest you check out my immersive mod series. I will link the playlist in the description, easy for you to find. And coming in very close to the end of the video, we got the miscellaneous textures. There are probably thousands of mods out there for each individual item that I can showcase here, but I will show a bunch of mods and then suggest some mod authors that create a lot of textures for you to check out by yourself. Otherwise this video will be hours long. It's already taking me weeks to film. Readable road signs, which is both very good looking and very useful when you decide to go for a stroll instead of fast traveling like an astronaut. Viking style ship sails because yarr, that's not what Vikings say. Enhanced blood textures to make those Nazim lovers like Lincoln suffer for supporting that douchebag, or at least look HD when you inevitably kill them. Pelts to make those high quality wooden houses feel more cozy with a fuzzy pelt thing. The alt series for things like barrels, rowboats, and crates, making wood things in general I guess look realistic and HD. And now, as I said, instead of looking at mods, here's some really amazing mod authors you should look out for that create some awesome retextures and often redesigns of existing objects in Skyrim. El Sopa for a lot of various items you can find in taverns, houses, crafting areas. Kanjis for a lot of niche items that are often forgotten that always end up really cool and stylized. John Skyrim for some really cool specific textures as well as immersive features. I'm Lenny again for specific textures that in my opinion focuses more on realism. And finally Xav Bio for some of the coolest vanilla armor retextures on the Nexus. And now that we have all the mods put together, now would be a perfect time to run Dindolod. But I will not do that. And that is because I am planning to have a world overhaul video after this one, in which I will talk about the cities and other locations, so stay tuned for that. You should hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay up to date. I will run Dindolod after that video. As this list is so big, I will not be able to fit all of the mods in the description, so instead I will leave a link to the post I made on Patreon containing all the mods. You will not have to pay for anything, it's just an easy workaround for YouTube's description limit. A massive thank you to my Patreon supporters who continue to support more and more content here. Your name can also appear at the end of my videos, or you can be roasted to bits if you choose the Nazim Lover tier. You will also unlock longer versions of my videos with deleted jokes and behind the scenes, which are always nice, and you can get access to that for free for 7 days with the trial, and then you can cancel anytime, no hard feelings. I am really happy with this graphical setup. I just wanted to say it one more time before ending the video, and please let me know what you think in the comments. Now, other than that, here's my last immersive mods video, and here's a video that is pretty well received about how to upgrade your NPCs, how to overhaul your NPCs, one would say. So now you have the choice. You already watched this Goliath of a video, why not just watch another one? What are you waiting for? Just click on either one of these videos and leave me alone.